Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Tazewell County. This is episode number 19. And we are back here on Tazewell County for the first game day of autumn or fall, as we often refer to it here in the US. And we are busy this morning. We already have a crew. Billy Bob and Jack are working on field number 7, which is basically just, if I can get my camera to turn around here, basically right over there. We are going to start on this little island right here, which is sort of field number, well, I think it's sort of field number 7, but I think for all intents and purposes, as far as the map here is concerned, I think it's being detected as field number 6, which is the field that we are going to be covering here. So we need to basically get our combine here unfolded. We are in the case. Billy Bob is driving the John Deere that we have leased, and Jack is driving the case. Kind of got a mix match, I suppose, of things. We've got the John Deere combine being helped with a case tractor and an auger wagon, and then we have our case combine that I'm driving here being assisted with a John Deere and an auger wagon. I did not do that way on purpose. It just was how it all unfolded. It's who got into what vehicle or what tractor and what combine, and who traveled out here to the field. So we are, like I said, we are well on our way into getting our corn harvest done. All of our corn is ready to go. Our soybeans will be ready to go essentially once we get our corn done, which I'm hoping that we can get our corn done. If we look at the weather forecast, which obviously is very important to consider, there we do have relatively cloudy day today forecasted, and we have rain tomorrow. So we went ahead because, you never really know. We'll get those couple of stalks there because waste not, want not, and all of that good stuff. You never know what you're going to have. It's sort of like, as Forrest Gump would say, life is like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get. And so with that said, we knew rain was coming tomorrow, Saturday. We had a pretty good idea that rain system was going to be moving out, but we had no idea as far as long-range forecast what was in store for us. And so we sort of figured, okay, the corn is ready to go. It's the first game day of fall. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get the corn harvested. Let's go ahead and try to get that in, take that as it may. If we end up having to take a bit of a break for tomorrow, Saturday, then obviously that is what we have to do, and we will essentially get back right at it on Sunday if need be, or Monday, just whenever the system moves out, whenever do I have somebody coming up on me here to empty me maybe? All right, yeah, we have our John Deere. So I really hadn't expected him to come over and empty us just yet, but he is here. There we go. We'll go ahead and empty into him, and then we'll resume. Hope everyone is having a really wonderful day. I certainly have had a wonderful day today. In the real world is Wednesday, the 4th of April, in case you want to know. And if you didn't want to know, well, I told you anyway. But yeah, today was a good day, hump day here in the work week as far as that goes. And started off kind of rocky. I had some server issues and stuff I had to deal with this morning, but that all got resolved and got everybody happy. And so like I said, we're going to do this little piece here, and then we're going to jump over and start working on field number 6. Again, this is sort of on the border of 6 and 7, but for whatever reason, Courseplay sort of recognized did not recognize this as being part of field number 7 when I set up the course for the other tractor over there. And let me tell you, that mother bin is going to work out great here on this map. We're basically going to be, my general idea is that we sort of put this in between 2 fields, and we'll have obviously 2 teams of 2. Now obviously Billy Bob and Jack are pretty much regulars here on Tazewell County, and of course they're regular hands of mine, hired by me, paid by me, all that good kind of stuff. We did basically pick up another worker. We'll call him, for lack of a better name, we'll call him Bo. Sorry about that. I had to think of a name there. We'll call him Bo. And Bo is just a resident of Tazewell County, and is just a guy that works for various farms and such, and so he didn't have anything better to do today, and so he came on out and is helping us here with our corn harvest. And hopefully Bo will figure out the tractor situation okay. Tractor looks a little odd because I did take the duals off of it, thinking, because the duals were a little wider, thinking that the dual tractor tires might have some problems as it's coming up on the mother bin. I just kind of wanted to try to rule out any sort of issues that we might have as far as the mother bin operations and everything goes. So hopefully I made the right choice. It's not as stable. That John Deere kind of has a tendency to shake a little bit. It's kind of like it's kind of nervous, kind of like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, or nervous as a bowl of jello, as I often say. It just kind of does that. It is kind of an interesting concept that there's a whole heck of a lot of really good quality modded equipment out there in the mod world, but for whatever reason, John Deere mods are always a little suspect, a little questionable, if you ask me, and I'm not the only one that thinks that. I've often conversed with others who have more or less thought the same thing, that everybody can mod Kloss and Fendt and Fords and Masseys and Case and all of this kind of stuff, but when it comes to John Deere, there's just something, I don't know if it's just the whole taboo of things, but just something more or less prevents the John Deere equipment from actually being all that good. I think that little 7530 is one of the best John Deere mods, and of course that's the one that's on the Giants Mod Hub, and that is just a fine little tractor, but I think it's a little bit underpowered to run that auger wagon, and so we kind of use it here on Tazewell County for moving around the small tippers with pig food or total mix rations or silage or whatever we need to do here. We did manage, of course, last time we were together for episode number 18, we basically took care of these fields here. Got those cut, raked, tethered, raked, belled, all that good kind of stuff. So all that is all in the barn. So we have ample supply of hay and straw to basically last the rest of fall and winter and basically spring. So we're good to go until we come back around for the next year. Of course, we won't be playing this map more than just one game year, and I'm kind of still trying to figure out just when Tazewell County is going to end. Obviously, we've got a lot of harvesting to do. I kind of forget how many fields total that we had to harvest. I guess we can go ahead and and pull that information up since we're here, and that will kind of give me an idea, at least something to think about over the next several days on how we're going to do the rest of these things. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 soybeans. So basically 10 fields that we need to harvest. And of course, I'm not going to bore you all by making episodes out of all 10 fields. I think what we will kind of do is abbreviate things a little bit. Might do 2 episodes doing the corn harvest of the 5 fields, and then probably 2 episodes of the soybeans, and then maybe have a couple of episodes recap or whatever we kind of got to do to bring the story to a close. I am still working sort of off camera, obviously, because I have not released this series yet. I have not started recording any gameplay on the new map, but the new map is sort of in the works as far as being prepared. There's a number of things that I like to do to a map as far as equipment placement and just kind of getting things the way that I like it. And it's going to be a little bit different approach, so to speak, than kind of what I have been doing normally. And do we have something that is blocked? I may need to go sort those guys out there. Let's see if our John Deere is coming up here to empty. And what I will do is I'm going to put a pause break right here. And I'm going to go over sort that other out, and I'll come back. All right, and we're back. So got them all detangled and everything. Billy Bob and Jack were sort of at a standoff on what was going on and such, and so we got them sorted out. Let me just lift my header as we come across here for the lower portion of field number 6. Now it kind of looks a little confusing because we kind of have corn growing back there, but those are not our fields. Those belong to the farmer that lives over there where the red barns and the silos are. So those are his fields, and he'll harvest his own fields. Obviously, getting pretty good yield out of these as well, out of these corn fields, which is good because the silo, the buyer obviously wants a lot of corn. They have a little high demand for corn in this area, both for feed use as well as human consumption. So we certainly aim to be able to provide everything that we possibly can. And of course, I've talked about these fields being slightly out of a line with each other. So there are some areas that we're not going to be able to harvest, even though it is within the defined field that belongs to us. It looks like the field boundaries are just a little bit off. But what a phenomenal map this is. And I realize that I am perhaps only maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 episodes away from closing out operations on this map, and it's been such a joy to play. I've really enjoyed this style of map. I've really enjoyed the way that the fields are kind of, not your typical square fields, and they're not even the typical odd-shaped field, what I would call odd-shaped fields. Because they do have, as we run into the front of that tractor, but he was in the way, they do have this ebb and flow as far as the way that the fields are laid out, and that's just really, really cool. I've really enjoyed playing that. It has been a little bit of a challenge because course play has its challenges, even if the fields are perfectly square and there's not a tree to be seen for miles around. Course play can still struggle to keep things going correctly, but that is just the nature of the beast. It's kind of the nature of the AI type of vehicles and all of that kind of stuff. We all feel the pain. We're all basically in this, and whether you're using course play or the built-in Giants AI, or you're using something like Auto Combine, it all has its struggles, it all has its opportunities, and we just have to kind of roll with the punches and kind of chalk it up to, well, that's just kind of how things operate in the world when you have hired work. Sometimes our hired work is as much as we want them to perform as if we would do the tasks ourselves. Sometimes that's just not the case. It's just not possible. Like Billy Bob is over there bobbing up and down as he is stuck on something. So bear with me for a second, and I will go and sort him out again. Alright, back with you. Had to sort Billy Bob out in the combine, then ended up having to sort Jack out, and it was more or less all to do with that little fence that's over there. If you might remember, when we were working over in that field, either cutting the grass or fertilizing or whatever, there is kind of a cable fence that runs across there, and they were both struggling with that, so I put a headland in there, a couple of headland rows in there, and that'll help sort that out and hopefully make that work a little bit better. So I was thinking, when I was over there sorting those guys out, I was thinking that what I might do is just to kind of break up the monotony, because obviously you just got done watching me harvest a few fields on Midtown USA, that I kind of thought that what I would do is I would do sort of a, for the next video, obviously we'll still most likely be harvesting corn, but I'll do sort of a time lapse, maybe for a few minutes of commentary, just to kind of catch you guys up on anything that I might have to say or add to the episode. I would do kind of a time lapse for the second corn harvest. That way, again, it's just kind of designed to keep things from becoming a little bit too boring for you, even though I do know that harvesting is probably the most popular of the episodes to watch for most people. And looks like Jack is slipping over there, so we'll let Bo come up there. Alright, back with you again. I tell you, it's, as much as this map is a joy to play, it is proving to not be so course play friendly when it comes to harvesting. These little gullies and ravines and everything that run through here do present a little bit of a challenge for the combines. There's some unevenness that basically course play is unable to kind of compensate for, with regards to picking the header up and that sort of thing, to kind of help make it a little bit easier for the vehicle to go across these areas. But nonetheless, it's still a good fun map to play. But I can see where this would definitely be the ideal map for multiplayer, where you've got actual real people, real human players playing the game, operating the equipment and everything, and kind of bypassing the whole course play and AI stuff, because we already have more vehicles slipping and everything. So this is going to become a little bit of a challenge if it continues to be this way. So I will be right back. All right, and once again, I'm back with you. So we're going to see how this is going to go. I am fingers crossed that the other fields will go maybe a little bit easier, because as we move a little further north of here, over to fields, say 13 and 3, so on and so forth, those fields are a little flatter, they're a little larger, they're a little more square or rectangular shaped, and so they don't tend to have these gullies and ravines as prominent over there. So I'm kind of hopeful that things will kind of work a little more efficient anyways. That way it kind of keeps the flow of the videos going, because every time I kind of need to stop and go over and sort those other vehicles and everything out, I kind of lose my train of thought. And well, it doesn't take a whole lot for me to lose my train of thought, and of course I chalk that up to age more than anything, but it is what it is. And just kind of looking at what our timer shows there, I've had quite a few interruptions, so I can't really base, I'm going to go ahead and put a headland in here, because That way we won't be turning around in our neighbor's field. But any event, I've kind of lost track of time, I suppose, as far as exactly how many minutes we have been recording, but that's not a problem. I'll record a few more minutes here, and then I think that'll be kind of close to 30 minutes. So again, as you can kind of see, the terrain, the field boundaries and everything are a little off, but we'll just kind of disregard that. And but the new map, I was talking about the new map, I think, before I got interrupted by Billy Bob. The new map is going to be something a little bit different for me, in the sense that I have, I've always done traditional farming. I've always, grown crops, wheat, barley, corn, soybeans, sunflowers, potatoes, soybean, or sugar beets occasionally. I've done those kind of things and have always quite enjoyed that type of farming. And of course, pretty much all of that type of farming has always gone towards funding the communities where selling most of the crops are being sold directly to local silos, local merchants and everything in the area. And so what we're going to be doing with this new map, and I almost said the name of it, and I'm really going to try to bite my tongue and not reveal the actual name of the map right now. But I think what I'm going to be doing is there will be some crops that we will be growing, probably some sunflowers, probably some soybeans. Not a whole lot of it, because obviously been really giving you guys lots of soybeans and corn, especially with this map here. But we'll be growing some soybeans and some sunflowers and stuff like that, which we'll be selling locally. But we'll also be growing sugar beets, we'll be growing wheat, and we'll be growing canola, specifically to fund some industry. So we're going to be doing some industry. We're going to do the pellet haul. So that's part of the straw harvest pack. I figured, well, this is a good series to do that, because I'm going to near the time that the new series is going to start, which we're looking at very close to the 1st of May is when the new series will debut. That will, obviously, Midtown USA will be wrapped up by then. Tazewell County will be close to being wrapped up at that particular point in time. And I really want to just kind of focus on one map at a time for now. Kind of get through the next busy stage that I'm going to have coming up in June. I've got some travel in June. My wife and I are going to be on vacation late August into early September. Kind of get through some of that, play one map at a time, be able to focus a little bit better on the things that need to be done as far as just one single Let's Play. We'll see how things go whenever we reach the other side of vacation and all that kind of stuff. But and obviously we'll get through one map a lot quicker, because if I'm doing 3 or 4 episodes of Farm Sim each week, within probably 2.5 months or so, we'll probably be done with that map, and then it'll be time to move on to another map. But anyway, this gameplay is going to focus a lot on industry. So again, we're going to be raising all 3 animal types, pretty much for profit. Cows for milk, sheep for wool, pigs for the pigs themselves. We'll obviously raise the pigs, and of course that's where the soybeans and that is where the wheat comes in from, because we will attempt to try to make our own pig food, and hopefully that will go off without a hitch, that endeavor. And of course the pellet haul, like I said, I figured it was time to go ahead and take more advantage of the straw harvest DLC, since I bought and paid for it and everything. Certainly don't want that to go to waste. So we'll bag some pellets and sell that for profit. And of course, like I said, the industry, which is I'm looking forward to doing, we'll probably dabble in a little bit of biodiesel, production of biodiesel out of canola. And let's see what else. Compost, yeah, compost. I had fun doing compost at the tail end of Midtown USA. So we'll be taking our extra straw and our extra whatever we can basically scrounge around the farm and everything, and throwing that into the compost master and creating compost again to sell for profit. So we'll have a relatively small budget to get started in. More or less the idea, the general idea is that this is a farm that has been in operation for multiple years, whatever the case might be. All the equipment and everything is bought and paid for. There's very little operating capital, and so we'll need to get the industries fired up so that we've got some money coming in so that we can avoid borrowing money from the bank and keep everything going, keep all of the industries going, which will hopefully bring in enough money to offset the cost of the labor to help get the fields planted, as well as the seeds, the fertilizer, and water for the cows and the animals and all that kind of stuff. So I'm quite looking forward to it. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm thinking that this is probably going to be a good place to kind of wrap things up. I'm sort of thinking that I will spend some time off camera getting the rest of these fields cleaned up, and that way, let's see, 2 down and basically 3 to go. So I will figure out what I'm going to do as far as the next episode, which I believe will be episode number 20, which you'll watch on Friday. We'll try to figure out just whether that's going to be a full episode or whether I will do some time lapse, but more or less it will be harvesting some corn. But we'll try to get the harvest of corn wrapped up within the 2 episodes. That way we can go ahead and proceed to soybeans. Of course, we need to empty the mother bin because we'll need the mother bin. We'll need to move the mother bin around over to the other side of the field there, because that's where the soybean crops are. Thankfully, in my infinite wisdom, I did plant these. I did plant the corn together, and I planted the soybeans together. So at least I was smart enough. To do that, because I sort of figured that made the most sense. And yeah, so I'm quite looking forward to it. Quite looking forward to getting the corn done, getting the soybeans started. And of course, we'll have to keep an eye on the weather. I sort of figure that it will take us, well, with the rain tomorrow, we probably will harvest corn on Sunday the 3rd. And then maybe on Monday, the 4th, we'll get started on the soybeans. We'll kind of see how that goes. But anyway, I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, ladies and gentlemen, is go ahead and start wrapping things up and tell you all that I appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me over on Discord. And I hope you guys have signed up or have joined the Simulation Gaming Society's Discord server, because Eustace, Duckzorly, and myself really do enjoy interacting with our viewers. Of course, we can do that individually on our own channels, but we also enjoy interacting with you all over on the SGS Discord server as well. And hope everyone just continues to have a wonderful month of April. My gosh, it's as I'm looking at when this video is going to debut, it's going to debut it's going to be available on the 23rd of April. Of course, this is the 4th of April that I'm recording this episode, but it is hard to believe that I'm that far ahead, and that feels good. And it's hard to believe that once this video actually does air, that pretty much April will be done. You'll have about 6 or 7 days left of this month, and then it will be time to start looking at May. And of course, we all know that, you know, May, for at least for those of us in the U.S., May is what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn here, and I'm going to go back and finish this piece up right here, and that way we don't have to go all the way up to the top and all the way back down. But anyway, May obviously is the month for Memorial Day, and that is a holiday that I've always enjoyed Memorial Day, from the sense that it's sort of the official start of the summer holiday for us in the U.S., because school tends to always get out around Memorial Day. Usually the week before or so, or a few days before. And of course summer starts, and of course that is the end of the cold, hopefully the end of the cold and dreary weather that we have here. As a matter of fact, opening day for the Colorado Rockies, that's our baseball team, that's our Major League Baseball team, the Colorado Rockies here, our home opener for baseball season is this coming Friday, which is the 6th of April, and they're forecasting a first pitch temperature of about 45 degrees, and before the game will be over, they're predicting it could be as cold as 30 degrees and snow. Of course, that's what happens when you try to play baseball in Colorado in an open air stadium. But anyway, again, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Please take good care of yourselves, and also take good care of each other, and come back here very, very soon. God bless you all. Bye-bye.